Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm
I'm Jen,
Kimberly. Whoops.
and this is a vegan morning show.
Indeed, it is.
Kimberly, it's our last morning show during the morning.
It is. It is. And as much as doing this in the morning has really made my Mondays better because hanging out with you at the start of my week is so wonderful.
I feel the same.
Yeah. I don't want to get up so early anymore. So I am really glad that our viewers have made the same choice, which has made us push this to an evening time starting next Monday at 6 p.m.
Right.
Eastern.
But it's still going to stay that vegan morning show because it's morning somewhere.
Correct.
There is a time zone on this planet
Mhm.
that'll be morning time.
Yeah. Pretty
So
cool.
it still counts.
Yeah. It'll be the morning show for them.
Exactly. So how was your weekend, Kimberly?
My weekend was a weekend. I did work like my day job. That was part of it for sure. And just did some cool things like a local protest in town. So I was able to attend that. The Mets were on, and they
That's right.
they took the series, but they didn't sweep the Pirates. So that was a little disappointing. The end of the game yesterday. Yeah, I was heartbroken. Eye roll. Because opening day, was during the week as it is, and I was so busy at my day job that I couldn't even listen to the game. The Mets opener. I know. I can't remember the last time that happened that I missed at least listening to opening day. So that was disappointing to say the least. But here we are, new season, pretty much whole new Mets team, save a few people, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm wishing them the best.
Thank you. How was your weekend, Jen?
My weekend was pretty good. My son had off on Saturday. He's been working a lot. And so we went and saw Project Hail Mary, which was the second time seeing it for me, but it was so good. I was happy to see it again. And who doesn't love seeing Ryan Gosling multiple times?
Exactly.
And he's so good in this movie. So anyway, so yeah, we had a little mother-son day, and then we also went out for breakfast, and then anytime we hang out, we usually have to go to Barnes and Noble. Even if we don't buy anything, we just like the idea of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my Saturday. And then yesterday I went to Brooklyn and visited family. And now back to the grind.
Mm-hmm. I know. The weekends are not long enough.
They are not. And then what we were just talking about before we started the show, how even when we have
like even when we have time off, Jen was starting to say that we want to work on like this on that vegan morning show or the confident vegan or did you bring the hummus? And so it's hard even when we have time off to actually take time off, at least a full day anyway. There's always like working in time to work on stuff. So that is the life of an entrepreneur and someone who still has a day job. So there is that. So if you're tuning in live or if you're watching the replay, please, with this topic that we've got coming up, let us know your comments, what we're talking about today and how you feel about this. What we're talking about today is like using the word vegan and businesses making that choice, whether or not they either continue to use the word vegan or start or stop, and like what Jen and I think about it and what we think is it good for the movement? Is it detrimental? Are these people even really part of our movement? I don't know. I'd like to know what you think. Jen is back, so we'll just give her one sec. There we go.
So my
I
computer decided to just get rid of internet. It just was not connecting to internet at all. And
oh,
then,
that's fun.
yeah, I don't know what's going on here with these stupid settings.
So
Sorry
I
about
just I just kind of introduced the topic and invited viewers to share their thoughts on what we're covering today. And one of the things that I just said was kind of about like businesses and, you know, whether or not they use the word vegan, or if they do, are they choosing to stop using the word vegan? And or like, did they never use the word vegan in the first place, and why? And I also have the question, like, these people who use the word vegan but then decide not to because they think it's going to be better for their business or whatever, like, are they not just only is it helpful or detrimental to the movement, but I wonder, are these people in the movement at all? So that's kind of a third thing I had the thought of as I was introducing the topic. So Jen, I'd love to know what's your initial thought on this topic, and yeah, that.
Well, thank you for plugging the topic and letting people know what we're going to talk about, and hopefully my internet keeps me on. I have a lot of thoughts on this topic, and I understand how the V word can turn off non-vegans. And I'll give an example. When we went to Hawaii last year, there was this amazing vegan food truck that made all kinds of delicious, like, vegan fish tacos and loaded fries and like just amazing food, comfort food. And we went there like 3 different times for dinner. And we were in line one of those times, and we're behind this family, and they were behind someone else, and they're looking at the menu, and then they're like, oh, it's vegan. And then they just walked away. And it made me sad because the food looks delicious, right? It looks like amazing food you would get anywhere else. But as soon as they saw the V word, they ran away. And so I understand why there's a hesitance to use that. But I think it's very important to not shy away from using the word vegan, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what being vegan is. And I feel like it's really important for us vegans to stand grounded in that and advocate for the meaning of that word and why it's important. And so, for example, we went to a board game night on Friday, and we brought Mary's Gone crackers and some tree line cheese. Nice. Who doesn't love tree line cheese, right? Yeah. And they all knew I was vegan, and everyone was curious about it and tried it. They're like, oh, cashew cheese. I've never heard of that before. And they loved it.
Nice. Of course they did. Tree line's the best.
Right. And so I feel like it's a great opportunity. Like, we don't have to be in people's faces saying, you know, you're a terrible person for not being vegan. But I don't think we should not say we're vegan, or wherever it is, or a business, because that business in Hawaii is showing people what vegan food is, right? The various possibilities. And also veganism is beyond food, right? It's also clothing. It's a whole ethical practice. But food is usually the big thing, right? That gets in people's ways about getting involved with it, right? Because we have food tied in with so many things. So whatever your business is, I think it's important to say that it's vegan, because you want to show people what is possible. We need to bridge the gap between vegan and non-vegan. And the only way that we can do this is if we stand true to what veganism is and show people the beauty in it. So those are my thoughts. And yay, my internet didn't crash. What are your thoughts, Kimberly?
I too have many thoughts. I agree with you in that it is really important to keep using the word vegan. And I, within my own business, would never not use that word. It is, the whole framework and philosophy, and it's an ethical stance, it's a social justice movement. It is so much more than just the pieces that make up what it is to be vegan. And we can't educate people properly and show them just like what it truly means and the impact that it truly has if we're not using this word, because then we have to go piece by piece, and we have to I think it takes more to explain to someone what you're doing, like why you're making the choices you're making, if you don't have like a way to describe. That's why we have words, right? And we have a word that describes whatever it is that we're doing. It's the same way that someone says, I'm Jewish or I'm Catholic, or and I don't mean that veganism is a religion, but it's just like you can use that one identifier, that one word identifier, and people know a lot of things about what is meaningful to you, how you interact with your world. And so I think that it is really meaningful. I think this idea that non-vegans are afraid of the word vegan, or it makes them like, oh, I don't want that. I mean, you did have a solid example there of the family standing online at the food truck that realized it was vegan and went, we're not going to eat this. But those people are too close-minded in a situation like that to make the choice to stay on that line anyway. And they are going to need a lot more work. And I would think that if that food truck didn't identify the food as vegan and they ordered and then they got it and they'd be like, what is this? And feel like, I can't believe I wasted my money on that, even if they liked it, because there's like a thing in their head that like, oh, vegan food is not what I eat. I'm not vegan, so I don't eat vegan food. And it becomes like, I think, a negative. But if we say vegan and the family goes, nope, I'm not interested, then there are other families on that line that go, hey, do you want to try this? Like, I've heard of, hearts of palm or whatever, and I would never know how to make this at home. Why don't we try it here and see if it's any good? And I think that for people who are ready to give it a try, having a food truck that says vegan is meaningful. And people are at different stages, and it's just a matter of how we interact with them in those stages of being open or willingness, like their willingness to embrace veganism. But I think if we stop using the word, I don't know how we continue to move things forward in a succinct, clear way, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I agree with everything you just shared. And yeah, I feel like it is, like you were saying before, it's about education. Like my platform is the Confident Vegan, right? And I do sometimes interview people who aren't vegans on there, but they have value in what they're sharing that helps people with confidence, boundaries, authenticity, which is something vegans can struggle with. And so I have a library of all kinds of resources that can help people wherever they are in their journey, but I'm still the Confident Vegan. And my mission is to help people authentically be who they are, but also authentically be vegan and confidently be vegans and be able to set boundaries and navigate those challenges that we all have living in a non-vegan world. And so I would never change that for, to, soften it to try to appeal to the masses, right? My work with confidence and boundaries can be appealing to people who aren't vegan, but I'm still not going to change the fact that, hey, I'm a confident vegan. I can help you with this, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to reduce myself and shrink myself down to fit expectations of what other people are looking for. And if vegan turns them off, then they're not my people. Like what you were saying before about that family. Clearly, they are closed minded and not open to that. And as you were talking about, it reminded me of something where I was doing an icebreaker thing a while back at an event, a group event, and I shared something about me being vegan, or I shared something, and then someone who knew me mentioned how, I about my YouTube channel and how I share all kinds of really great recipes, but then but they're vegan recipes. And so in that moment, and I was like, vegan just mean as like vegan food is just food, delicious food without animal products.
Mhm.
That's all that means. In terms of the food part of it.
Mhm.
But that was my quick response in that situation. And it wasn't like a malicious response, but it just showed me how people eat vegan food all the time. They eat salads, they eat, vegetable things, right? And,
Mhm.
you know, and again, to pivot away from food, there's no need to use animal products for clothing and other, toiletries, cosmetics, right? We don't need to be abusing animals for anything. And just because, one of the popular arguments, well, that's how it always has been,
Mm.
right? But when you know better, you can do better, right? Which is why we're all the vegans that we are, because we know better, we know, and we're responding differently. And people they're so connected to how things always are.
Mm.
But I mean, if we keep things the same with anything on this planet right now, it's
Right.
not going to go well in so many directions. And with clothing, there's the cruelty. There's also the cruelty to the people who work in these industries as well. And I feel like it's so important for us, again, to use our platforms for education, because even if it turns people away, we're still planting a seed that maybe won't make a difference in the moment, but you never know how that might make them think differently about something down the line. So yeah, I feel like I was rambling a bit. So
You're all good.
tag, you're it.
I was thinking about the various businesses or influencers. I roll there too.
I know, it's such an overused term.
Like I get why that became the term for these types of roles, but oh my God, I hate it so much. But anyway, that's my own thing, not the topic we're talking about. Well, anywho, what I have, and this is anecdotal, of course, I don't have any studies to show this, but when we look at what's happened over the last few years with businesses who used to identify their business as vegan, have vegan maybe in the name or vegan all over the menu if it's a restaurant, or just like really focused on veganism and having it be a vegan thing they're doing. Influencers who are making vegan recipes or talking about veganism from whatever aspect they have been. What I have noticed is that when they maybe shift to calling themselves plant-based, or they take vegan out completely and they don't really talk about it anymore, what that means is what's coming is animal products or an abandonment of veganism. And so when I see somebody who starts down that path, or I notice their handle changes, And it just happened with someone else. And she
Oh no.
continues, yeah, she continues to say, I can't remember what her other handle was, but now it's just like her name. And people are like, what are you doing? What, like, where's the vegan? And she's just like, I'm just trying to be more accommodating to people who aren't vegan, but I promise I will never promote, meat, dairy, eggs, honey, using animals. I'm still vegan, but my platform doesn't have to say that. And I'm like, oh, it's a slippery slope, my friend. What are you doing?
That is a slippery slope.
Yeah. So when I see a business that I have loved or an account that I have enjoyed following, when I see them drop the V word, I am concerned and I start looking for, if it's a place I spend money, like a business I buy things from, I'm going to start looking for other businesses that still say the V word. I do think that we can still be fully inclusive while having a strong standing in veganism. That's, I feel, very much what Did You Bring the Hummus is about. Obviously, the word vegan is not in the title of the business of the podcast, but the description of the podcast is a podcast for all things vegan. And a requirement of the only requirement, in fact, to be a guest on Did You Bring the Hummus is that you have to be vegan. Because that's just, we talk about a vegan journey, and that is a significant piece of the storytelling within every episode. And so there isn't space for somebody who isn't vegan to be on the podcast. There isn't
Yeah.
space for someone who isn't vegan to partner with me and put something out into the world. But there is so much space for people who aren't vegan and want to learn about it to be part of my world. There's tons of episodes that bring people in who don't know about veganism or who want to learn different aspects of it. I have over 200 blogs, and so many of them are just as accessible to someone who is just learning about veganism as someone who has been doing it for as long as we have. And it just, when I look at how I'm structuring things, I do not feel that at any point I am pushing people away who are not vegan. I might be pushing away people who want to come and argue with me about it. And I'm okay with that because I don't have the time or the interest in the argument. I want the people who are curious enough, even if they come to me and say, I'm not going to do this, but I've got this question. Like, they come with that caveat all the time, right? You've heard that too. And that's fine. I want to have a conversation with you. But yeah, so for me, like, I want the word vegan on everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And circling back to what you're saying about influencers changing, there was one that you and I both followed for a while who started doing this twice as nice thing
Mhm.
where he would do the vegan version and the animal product version.
Yeah.
And then I somehow popped up like a few months ago, and I saw he was like just doing things without even a vegan option next to it.
Mhm.
So it's right like that. It's that slippery slope.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing. Like, one of the things that again, like, I liked your example, right? You are still inclusive, even though you're all about being vegan and you cover all things vegan. That doesn't mean there's not anything that's of value on your podcast to someone who's not vegan. You share
Right.
vegan stories on there, which is very important, especially if you're
Mhm.
someone who's thinking about it. And I have that too on my channel. The first thing I ask people is, what is their vegan story?
Mhm.
Because I feel like if I knew those things before, if I had access to that information before, it might not have taken me 2 years to go vegan. I probably would have
Yeah.
gone vegan sooner. And so providing that support for people wherever they are in their journey, and you can do that and stand in your veganness proudly,
Mhm.
and you're still being inclusive to people, but you're still staying grounded in who you are. One of the things, and when in terms of recipes, I have noticed that if I share recipe, like whole food plant-based recipes, I get more response from non-vegans who are concerned about health.
Mm.
So when I do create thumbnails for those recipes, I'll mention that they're whole food plant-based, but I'll also say that they're vegan, right? And emphasize that. And if it's gluten-free, I'll also throw that on there as well. But again, and for me, the only thing that I'll adjust in marketing sometimes if I want to connect with non-vegans more is I will put I'll if it's something that's healthy, I'll share that in the marketing, but I still don't take away the fact that it's also vegan.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So that's the way that I have found to attract more non-vegan people who are concerned about health, but I still don't take away the fact that it's also vegan. I just promote that it's healthy food that's also vegan food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that is really important too, because there is definitely within that whole like whole food plant-based diet culture, really, that veganism equals unhealthy. Veganism equals junk
Mhm.
food. And the only way that you can be a healthy plant eater is to be whole food plant-based. And there are plenty of vegans who are activists who are engaged in the movement on a daily basis who eat mostly wholly whole food plant-based diet because that's the diet. But these people who are not connected to veganism from an ethical side can sometimes demonize veganism because they're only looking at food and they've decided that whole food plant-based is not vegan, it's whole food plant-based. And so that like there's they also see themselves as like better than vegans and whatever because they're eating this more wholesome, healthful food. But you absolutely can eat whole food plant-based, and you're proof of that, and be vegan, fully vegan at the same time. They do not have to be two separate things. And
Mhm.
so I appreciate that the goal when you're sharing those is to include words that people can resonate with while not taking away the one word that people are like, this is a bad word and we should stop using it. You know, vegan is there as well as whole food plant-based. I think that is meaningful. But when like we see these people who start to only say whole food plant-based and they're not talking about the vegan aspect of it, that's when we start to see animal products coming in or them completely like moving away from the movement as a whole. And so there is a way, as you've said, to have both. We can show people, hey, here's the healthy stuff. And by the way, you don't have to be a junk food vegan, quotes, in order to be an activist, in order to have the motivation within the movement to create a vegan world.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate the addition and not the taking away.
Thanks. Yeah, I like what you said, the addition and not taking away. And I
Mhm.
think that's people view veganism as this threat of taking away the
Mm,
things they love,
yeah.
right? Taking the way you can be as healthy, eat as healthy or as unhealthily as you want as a vegan,
Yep.
right? And the more I've learned about the horrors in all aspects of all the industries and how animals are exploited, it just validates my decision to stay committed to this further. Not that I was ever wavering. Once I crossed that line and I was like, I can't be not vegan anymore, it's only gotten stronger, but I don't feel like anything's been taken away,
Mhm.
right? Because think about the animals' lives that got taken away,
Right.
right? They didn't ask for that.
Mhm.
And especially now, it's so like we have both interviewed vegans who've been vegans since like the 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
90s, right? Which vegan food was not what it is now.
Right.
Right. You can actually have delicious cheese, like tree line cheese.
Yep.
Wish I had some now.
Me too.
Spread it on a bagel.
Yeah.
Next time.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it's so much easier now, and there's so much support. And with social media, there's so much information out there. You can find community, whether virtually or in person. There's so many ways that you can be supported now being a vegan.
Mhm.
And it doesn't take away from anything. And especially with fashion, like I've heard the debate about vegan leather and how like it's, pollutes the environment. Well, first of all, leather that comes from animal skin also pollutes the environment. There's nothing natural about that because there's all these chemicals that have to be put into that animal skin before it can be turned into anything else, right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole other topic. But so there's nothing natural or good about that either. But now when we've talked about this before, there's pineapple leather, mushroom leather, so many materials out there now. We really have no excuse to have to consume animals. And so now it's even more important than ever for all of us committed vegan activists to go out there and educate people and let them know what is possible and that you can be both. And when I do talk about how I am a whole food plant-based eater, I also talk about when I do talks how I'm also an ethical vegan. And when I want a treat, I will go have a vegan burger or vegan ice cream or a vegan treat, right? So when I want to eat the junk food, there's a bazillion vegan versions of them out there that, again, you can meet yourself wherever you are in your life being vegan and not feel deprived in anything. So yeah, those are my final thoughts on that. What about you, Kimberly?
Yeah. Well, my final thought is that let's not abandon the word vegan. Let's keep it out there. Let's be loud and proud about it. And if you feel like the rest of your marketing is not inclusive to people who are focused on their health or people who are not yet open to the word vegan, then add words that make them feel included. That's it. Yes. You don't need to change your menu. You don't need to change the products you sell. You don't need to stop calling yourself a vegan entrepreneur, a vegan business. Just expand out the language that you use. I still feel like veganism is inclusive in a lot of ways, but if that is not resonating with you and the people who you feel are your ideal clients, there are other ways in order to bring them into the fold, as they say.
Absolutely. I love it. We are past time, Kimberly.
We are.
What a good discussion.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
I mean, we always have a good discussion.
We do.
And my internet didn't crash after that one time.
Yeah, very good.
So, Kimberly, what do you have going on this week?
I have a new podcast episode with Anna Balzer from Woodstock Farm Sanctuary. I am wearing my hoodie this morning.
Awesome. Anna's great.
She's so great. She was on that Vegan Morning Show and The Confident Vegan, so go check those out as well. But her episode with Did You Bring the Hummus is out today. And we talk about Sanctuary, and it's just a really fun and beautiful conversation. And I'm just so glad for people to hear it. So check that out. What do you have going on?
I can't wait to listen to that. I have to catch up on all your podcasts. I'm behind.
I'm behind on yours too.
Life's been lifing.
Yes. It's so hard.
Yes. I am putting out a new video on Wednesday, but I can't remember who it is because I recorded like a whole bunch of interviews and I have to look at
Ooh, mystery
the order.
episode.
Mystery episode. Exactly. But come check out the Confident Vegan on Wednesday to see what I post.
Nice.
I should have had that prepared beforehand. But even better when it's a surprise, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, and you and I are doing another class at the end of next month. In April, we're doing a class on how to prepare tofu. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you're interested in that, please reach out to us and we'll get you all the details.
Because we've gotten questions on that about, especially from non-vegans who participated in our Veganuary,
Right.
who had a lot of misconceptions about tofu. So that was our inspiration for that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. All right, Kimberly. Well, it's been fun hanging out with you this early, and maybe
Yes.
someday we'll come back to being early. But in the meantime, we'll be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern, but it'll still be morning somewhere. And also, please let us know if you're watching the replay. What are your thoughts on this topic? We would love to hear from you. And yeah, we hope to see you next week live on our new time.
Yeah, good stuff.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.